News Talk 710 KURV, and we're broadcasting from Houston. We're at the West End Galleria. I love this property. Mm-hmm. Like, you go right out the door, you go into the Galleria, go to the food court. Right. They got that little weird museum right next door. We are here selling the region of northern Mexico and southern Texas, and the Radio Monkey needs to pay attention to the camera. It's right there. Okay. I want to thank you all for joining us. Also on the 710 KURV Facebook, 710 KURV YouTube, X, some of these videos, these standalone conversations, you'll see it on LinkedIn as well. And it is a real pleasure to meet Lorenzo Barrera. He is the executive president of the board. He is the founder of Banco Base, that is based in Monterrey, Mexico. I don't need to get too personal, but you're a family man, right? You've got family, kids, all that. That's right. And I ask you, boys, make sure the microphone is properly positioned for Mr. Barrera. Okay. I ask you because that's a full-time occupation. For sure. You're the founder of Banco Base, but then you've decided to seek other full-time occupations. Mm-hmm. So you're leading the charge at the American Chamber, Noreste. And you're a board member at Monterrey Tech, right? And then aside from that, you're also helping out with the health system out there. When do you sleep?
That's a great question. Actually, what happened is 4 years ago, I decided I used to be president and CEO of the company that I founded 39 years ago. But then after 35 years of being the CEO of the company, I decided to hire a new CEO. Okay. So I left that position, and I'm only the president of the board, which it's a little more relaxing position because I organize the board meetings every quarter. I review strategy, new businesses of the business, and how it's growing. You know, it's organic growth of the company. So it gives me a little more time. So I'm used to be really busy. So I said I need to get my time to some other things. So I took the position of American Chamber. I did the position of board member, and so that's where.
Always nice to be able to delegate that way. You do what you do best, which is to look at everything from the 30,000 feet and try to make decisions and have the visionary.
With my experience of 35 years in the bank that I founded, I thought my time was really valuable in other positions like Tec de Monterrey, like American Chamber, where you get to address many of your experiences throughout your life.
When I drive into Monterrey, it's been a while, but driving into Monterrey, it's like driving into Houston.
It is.
Being in the Valley. I grew up in Houston, but being in the Valley now for decades, and then coming back and getting on the Katy Freeway, or I've come buildings and buildings. Well, there's so much money. Same thing in Monterrey. Right. Multinational firm, another big assembly line over there. They're all over the place. The industrial powerhouse, the north of Mexico, that is Monterrey. And it's happened within the last generation, 34. You've been able, obviously, feed your family, capture some of that with all the money coming into northern Mexico. And it's time, I think. Northern Mexico, southern Texas. I'm always amazed how some people in the industry have never heard of us, are not familiar with what we are, who we are. And of course, to fix that, we got this RioPlex effort with 14 countries right now talking with it. Were you able to have a conversation with some of these folks?
I was able to meet a lot of people here, very interesting people as well. Joaquin Spammer, a great friend of mine, and he's a board member with me in the American Chamber, the Monterrey chapter, or Northeast chapter. And I think the main thing here, the main challenge is how do you let know the world about RioPlex? Because it was named RioPlex not long ago. It was maybe named this RioPlex area, I think 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And we have to let people know what the high potential that this area has. All the industry, SpaceX, all the borders, universities, high potential for any business that wants to establish in this area.
Yeah, and of course, I refer to the Rio Grande Valley Port of Brownsville as the Monterrey port. My goodness, it's always amazing to hear some of the numbers of tonnage coming in from the port, all the steel headed toward Monterrey, and it comes back to us or goes out to the world as consumer goods.
Auto parts,
right?
Manufacturing.
Yeah.
lots of big companies doing cross-border integration with U.S. companies, especially manufacturing automobile.
Which is where I wanted to go to next because of some of the consternation that we have in the markets related to trade policy. Lorenzo Barrera is with the American Chamber Noreste. He's from Monterrey. He's the chief. He's the founder at Banco Base and is a pillar in the community in Monterrey. He's one of the participants at RioPlex, RGV RioPlex. We're selling the region to the world. We got 14 different nations, folks who are trade attaches or consular folks that have connections to businesses, also businesses on the ground. So this is a unified effort between industry and business, industry, and local leadership to try to sell the Rio Grande Valley so they discover who we are. What do we need to do different in order to win, beat Houston, the more familiar names, San Antonio, Dallas, the more familiar names?
But for me, the big challenge is keep on promoting the region, letting the world know about RioPlex, all the opportunities that arrive to being there, all the infrastructure that is there to let any company come and establish its position in the region. That's the real challenge. You're going to stop doing that. That's the main thing.
I ask you because I know it's a gargantuan effort.
Mm-hmm.
Name recognition, Houston has. Name recognition, the big boys have. But for us, it's going to require, I believe, a commitment, a long-term commitment, a consistent, nonstop, in order to get it done. Plus, for example, the state level in Texas, there's a lot of support for South Texas, a lot of support from the governor's office, which I understand they're here. But tell me about how folks in northern Mexico, where decisions matter, where permitting matters, where infrastructure matters. Tell me about some either challenges or some of the opportunities that you see that involve them as well, because they're the ones that got to help grease the skids to
with the 3.5 million of people that work in the area, that live in the area, in the high potential with all those universities. That's one of the main reasons why many companies should establish north and southeast part of Texas, RioPlex, because the main challenge is where do you hire all these people? Who is going to hire all these people? The people are there. When you go to cities like Monterrey, lots of competition. Many companies are there already, but you need somebody. You need somebody prepared. You need somebody that has the skills from the universities, and they're here in RioPlex area. So for me, talent is one of the main reasons why many companies should be established in the RioPlex area. That's one. The second thing is all the cross-border 7 bridges cross-bordering to the U.S. and Mexico. That's really important. And the other is this port. The port of Brownsville is very important, to import-export goods and services. Well, goods mainly for all these companies. So I believe that we have to keep promoting the area, and with this high potential, I'm sure it's going to be doing very well in the future.
Talent that the industrial north has trained for decades now. It's not like talent that needs to be trained. Everything from clean rooms and other technology, because of the multinationals that are in Monterrey. Would you say that the investment level in the Monterrey area, Saltillo area, for multinational, would you say it's the same as it's always been? Is it, or the numbers dropping off a little bit, or what's going on in
It's a
northern
big
Mexico?
challenge because, as you know, the services is one thing, infrastructure and energy, water supply.
Is it true that the whole water thing that
Yes.
Elon Musk said, "Oh, wait, I can't get the water"? Okay,
Well, it's scarce, so it's a challenge. Energy is a big challenge. Infrastructure, roads, highways, railroads, they're a big challenge. And what I see in this area, RioPlex, is you have it all there. That's not a challenge. You have it available at competitive prices. So I think Monterrey and Mexico, and northeast part of Mexico, is having these big challenges. As you know, there's a big impulse on investing in southern part of Mexico. Our government in Mexico wants to invest in the southern part of Mexico to make it kind of a little even the quality of life for the Mexican people, and that obviously requires investment more than the south and in the north.
okay. I got to ask. I'm glad you brought that up. Is that realistic? because I mean, demographically speaking, it's
a long term.
It's two worlds.
It's a long term investment. As you know, there's not too many people there. There's no universities there. There's no railroads. There's no gas. There's no energy. It's going to be a
and
big
there are
challenge.
cultural issues that no one ever addresses either.
Right. A big challenge, long term challenge, and I think they're going to try to do the best to promote the growth of the southern part of Mexico.
Lorenzo Barrera is with the American Chamber Northeast Mexico, Monterrey area. He is the founder president, Banco Base, and he's a pillar in the community in northern Mexico. Just one of the voices, one of the participants here in Houston, promoting the region that is northern Mexico. And of course, the industrial north, that is like right next door. We get all those Fresitas coming to McAllen, doing all the shopping every weekend. Yeah, it's part of our family. Southern Texas, northern Mexico. We're selling this region through RioPlex, RGV RioPlex, this direct investor summit that's taking place in Houston right now. What would you say is the low-hanging fruit that we can capture in this era where all of a sudden it's real popular to set up production, manufacturing in the United States of America because of it's out of your control. It's decisions being made in Washington. You got Donald Trump throwing tariffs all over the place. Mexico City has its own mindset in government. They want to do things nice. There's all these things that you really can't change. But knowing the consternation that exists right now because the adjustment or readjustment and logistics and adjustments in supply chain, what would you say is the low-hanging fruit for us? Because it seems to me that there's a lot of interest in Asia that come over here to try to avoid any of the penalties and still access the largest GDP, the largest market, which is the American market.
For me, I think RioPlex area has big opportunities specifically because, as you know, yesterday, President Trump said 90 days suspension on all the tariffs. All these tariffs are for any country except for China.
Yeah.
So what happens is, I think the low-hanging fruit for this area is how do you address this matter in 90 days? We need certainty. As you know, uncertainty, which is now a theme for any company that wants to do business, is the main thing that avoids investment. But we need certainty. After these 90 days, I hope, and I really hope that that the U.S. has a real position on how to treat Mexico, Canada, the main partners of the U.S. We are the main partners that have grown the USMCA for many years, and we have done very well. How do we make sure that we have an integrated region, the biggest commercial block in the world, Mexico, Canada, and the USA? And that is the big challenge.
Yeah.
If we fix that, which makes certainty to any company that wants to invest, now they know the rules that they have to comply with. That's the moment that when they will invest in this area. They need certainty, and as you know, uncertainty is the main thing the main challenge for any investment.
Yeah.
So at the time that we have certainty, investment will come, but we have to make sure that the rules are set, and there are rules that are welcoming any investment in the world. I think that's the main challenge for the U.S. They make sure that they set up rules that are certain and just.
Lorenzo Barrera, the founder of Banco Base, he's with the American Chamber, Monterrey area. We're at RioPlex, RGV. RioPlex, the effort by South Texas leadership, North Mexico leadership. We're selling the region to the world. And we've got about 14 countries represented right now in these conversations taking place, hoping to land some more industry. Back to USMCA. It's going to get a redo here, this administration. From your perspective, what needs to change in USMCA? What would you like to see happen with USMCA as it's renegotiated?
USMCA treaty, I think, is going to be renegotiated before 2026. As you know, it was supposed to be reviewed 2026. We think in American Chamber that in 2025, the second part of the year, second semester, going to be renegotiated. And we want to see tariffs that are just, not just for the U.S. but for Mexico and Canada. We need to see that we're treated like a partner, not a an alliance partner with the U.S. And what we need is not to fight over small things. We can make the greatest commercial block in the world, and we need to help each other. We don't want only America to grow. We want America to grow with the partners, Mexico, Canada. I think that's the main challenge. Hopefully I think we can make that happen. Actually, as a board member of Mexico City, American Chamber Mexico City, in 2 weeks, we're going to be in Washington talking to some legislators from Washington, talking about these matters, setting up examples of how we can work together and how many companies in the U.S. have benefited have benefits from being a partner in the USMCA treaty for many years, and how they have grown, how they have created jobs, how they create jobs all over the world in the U.S. and in Mexico, the U.S. and Mexico and Canada. And I think it's the main challenge.
I have to say that for many years, during talk shows and conversations with all sorts of recruiters and politicians, I have to tell you that, like, in all these years, I've always been frustrated how Chamber of Commerce leadership, so many different administrations in Washington, we've gone through so many different oscillations, R&D, and never have they, I don't know if they ever considered the Americas, our neighbors. They went to Asia. Nixon went to China first, opened up the doors. We have created the number one economic, potentially military enemy of our nation, where business people in America, patent holders, copyright holders, have no access to their courts to make their claim and fight. They continue to steal in China, American and Western hemisphere technology. And we could have avoided all that by investing. I mean, go figure, the whole issue of illegal immigration, the flood of people looking to feed their family, like get a job, get a good career. All of that could have been avoided a long time ago. Maybe the winds of change are here. Maybe Milei in Argentina will move in that direction and provide an industrial powerhouse in South America. But that's part of the hope that, it always is there for us to see. But what we have now maybe will allow us to learn a lesson. I don't know, friend, but with China increasing tariffs and taxes, we got this game of chicken. Donald Trump and Xi Jinping, and they keep raising, ¿Quién es más macho? And they're moving in that. Okay, fine. But all I see from this is that it seems the largest amount of production, and we're vulnerable. I hear the president. I hear him. Mm-hmm. We still have not learned the lesson from COVID. Our fever reducers, or antibiotics, or medical or personal protection equipment, all the durable medical equipment, all that stuff, 90% is in China. God forbid we get hit with another virus. All those ships are going to go right back to China, protect their people. It happened. It will happen again. And I don't hear any priority. We're doing computer chips to make sure that we were able to put, that's great. We're doing computer chips, but we're still vulnerable. Like all this petulance, this fighting, the rest of the world, 75 countries, according to the White House, have come to the president and said, we're willing to negotiate. Okay, let's go down to 0 or let's go down to 2.5. China, no, they're moving. And if they did to what they did to their people, they shut down industry, they shut down business, their own people died. It didn't matter. In order to say, I've been telling my friends, in order to save face China, they can wait us out. They can wait out Donald Trump. Their leadership doesn't change. Mm-hmm. Around here, leadership changes on the whim of democracy. It just goes back. Who's going to give me more? Back. It's in Mexico. It happens in the U.S. It happens in Canada. Mm-hmm. They can wait us out. So we don't have time on our side to impose, to restructure this taxation, this industrial, the supply chain. We don't have it. But it is a great opportunity to tell the oligarchs or the business people in China, you want this market? You want Canada, Mexico, and the U.S.? Vente. Hurry up and commit to it. You need to come over here.
Let me tell you my take. Jorge Guajardo, he used to be ambassador for Mexico in China a long time ago, about two presidents back. And he gave us a speech in Caintra when the new president just entered 2 weeks ago. I thought it was very interesting how he set this tone for China. China is a country that their business model for companies is different from anywhere in the world. A company will hire people just for them to eat or live, The government will help those companies with financial aid. There's no way anybody can compete with a Chinese product because they have a different model than anywhere in the world. Any company in the world will have a company that needs to make money, pay their employees, keep on investing in R&D, and keep on being prosperous in the future. But China is different. So what happens is, I think he's right. China is the real thing that will challenge the whole world. They want to own the automobile companies, the automobile industry. They want to own all manufacturing companies. They want to own any services. And for me, I think Trump and the administration is doing well in setting up big tariffs on them because they're playing different rules. How can you compete with them? There's no way. They will wipe you out. So I think we have to make sure that the rest of the world, we are aligned with the U.S., especially Mexico and Canada, being the main partners, and make sure that we set up big tariffs on China. And we are aligned with the U.S., and we make this big trading treaty with USMCA, the new treaty, and make sure that China is away from it. And they will pay the dues. If they want to enter the market, they have to pay the dues because they have different rules. They will wipe us out because no government is helping any company like China is.
India, 1 billion plus people. There are a lot of poor people, but like I was telling my producer the other day, they got several hundreds and hundreds of millions of very rich Indians. That's right. And we go 0 for 0 with India, that's a brand new market where our factories will be just pumping out stuff for them to buy. Vietnam, of all places, 100 million Vietnamese. Now, they send us cheap textile and cheap Nike shoes and all fabrics, but they charge Vietnam 90%. Everything produced in the U.S., 90% tax. Boom. Donald Trump said, no, there you go, I'm going to slap you. They came to the table. So for them, they could either go real close nearby, set up in Vietnam, set up in India, or maybe we can capture, just come over here. Just produce here, northern Mexico, southern Texas, hit the market, sell. Final thought. Thank you for giving me all this time today. My guest
pleasure.
is Lorenzo Barrera. He's with Banco Base. He's with the American Chamber and the Monterrey area. Let's say you run into one of these guys, like a South Korean guy in the elevator. You got 1 minute to sell the area. What do you tell them? Why should they uproot or expand production and come to southern Texas or northern Mexico? You got 1 minute for the elevator speech.
Talent, the best talent in the world. They have infrastructure. They have import-export, the borders.
Yeah.
You have the best area to establish infrastructurally as well. But the main thing for me is there's the willingness for all the governments in this area to make your life easier to establish. There's a willingness that you don't see this everywhere. So I think that's very important.
Number 4, cabrito. Number 5, tacos.
Tacos.
And number 6, I'd say the Houston Texans because the Dallas Cowboys, they stink. Good to meet you, sir. Thank you for stopping by. Again, we got South Texas leadership, Northern Mexico leadership. We're pushing the region, introducing it to the world. Some folks, I guess, are discovering for the first time. We got 14 nations right now and a lot more that folks at RioPlex, RGV RioPlex, will be speaking to in order to bring some of this energy, reshore energy, and new investment, international investment energy to South Texas. I'm Sergio Sanchez. This is the Sergio Show. Actually, this conversation will probably be on the drive home this afternoon. So join us 4 to 6 on the drive home on News Talk 710 KURV, and join us online as well at Radio Para Mi.